Okay, so we're embarking on the final year of the four-team college football playoff era before it expands to 12 teams in the 2024 and the 2025 season. The decision for the college football playoff to expand from 4 teams to 12 teams has been debated on extensively in the college football universe, and I happen to be a proponent of the new 12-team college football playoff for a multitude of reasons. The first reason is that 12 seems to be the optimal number of teams to be accepted into the playoff. To put into perspective why I feel that way, I compiled the list of 12 teams that would have been in the college football playoff last year based off of the official CFP Week 14 rankings. So, of course, you have Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and Ohio State, respectively, in the top 4. And then after that, you have Alabama, Tennessee, Clemson, Utah, Kansas State, USC, Penn State, and Washington. You can't tell me that there's not a team in that 12-team lineup that could at least make some noise in the college football playoff. I'm not insinuating that all of them have a potential to compete for a national title. I'm saying that USC, Penn State, Washington, Kansas State has the capability to upset a Tennessee, a Clemson. Just putting that out there. I think if USC got matched up with TCU, they could beat them. And that's what we're ultimately looking for in a college football playoff is excitement, entertainment, and competition. This 12-team format, I firmly believe, will preserve that. In addition to that, there's been an ongoing issue these past several years that the 4-team college football playoff was designed to solve, but it only emboldened and intensified. With the BCS system, there were 2 teams selected for the national championship. It was computer generated. The college football playoff vowed to give more teams a chance by expanding to 4 teams and having a human-led committee decide what teams get in. However, teams that could legitimately compete for a national title continue to be left out. This seems to happen every year. Let's outline what that's looked like since 2020. So 2020, you had Texas A&M, who arguably could have gotten in. Notre Dame got in instead. 2021, Ohio State got left out. I think they could have competed for a national title. Last year, there's 2 teams that got left out that I strongly believe could have competed for a national title. Alabama and Tennessee. Your record does not define you. Let me repeat that. Let that sink in. Your record does not define you. Sometimes you're given schedule breaks. Sometimes you're not. And personally, I don't think that it's fair for a team that is capable of competing for a national title to get left out because they have 2 losses. Take a team, compare Alabama and Michigan last year, their schedules. Alabama had to go on the road to Texas, on the road to Arkansas, on the road to Neyland Stadium, on the road to LSU, on the road to Ole Miss. Of course you're going to have 2 losses. Your chance to compete for a national title shouldn't be diminished because you lose 2 of those games on an incredibly challenging schedule. And then you have Michigan last year. No, they played Hawaii early in the season. You have Illinois, Maryland, Rutgers. They were the only 2 times they were challenged within their conference was Penn State and Ohio State. That's it. Alabama or Tennessee would kill to have that schedule. That's what I mean when I say those teams like Alabama and Tennessee will get a chance to compete. And so will Michigan. Because you just like you shouldn't be defined by your record, you shouldn't be defined by your schedule either. Michigan can't control their schedule. They should get a chance to compete as well. The 12-team playoff will essentially be a system to determine the identity of each team. Are you a contender or are you a pretender? Which leads me to my next point. I really believe that the 12-team college football playoff will have an uncanny way of filtering those contenders from pretenders. Let's talk about a team like TCU last year. To get to the national title, TCU had to win one game. They got matched up against Michigan, who had a multitude of flaws, and with the exception of Penn State and Ohio State, didn't really play challenging competition throughout the year. TCU shell-shocked them. They looked startled the entire game. In the 12-team college football playoff format, say TCU gets in at 7 or 8, or say they get in at 3. They have to win at least 2 games to get to the national title. If they are 8, they have to win 3. They're not doing that. That's how this new format filters out contenders from pretenders. Because if you're for real, if you are worth competing for a national title, you will win 3 straight games because you'll be battle tested. And then you'll have the right teams definitively playing for the national title because you've had 3 games to filter out who those teams that are best suited for the national championship are to officially play in that game. This system is designed uniquely to filter out contenders from pretenders. I love that. I love teams like Alabama, Tennessee, Penn State, who had 2 losses because they had a more challenging schedule, but are capable of competing for a championship, get a chance to do so. And those who could sneak in have an upset, because upsets happen all the time. Like TCU over Michigan was an upset. Upsets happen all the time. TCU got into the national championship because they upset Michigan. And then they got dismantled by Georgia because they didn't really belong there. They got there because they were able to they got into the college football playoff and they were able to upset Michigan. They only had 1 loss throughout the year. Great season for TCU. I'm not taking anything away from them. I love the Horned Frogs. Love them. But with this new format, teams like them will get filtered out early on. They may win a game. They may upset somebody early on. But then after that, they'll get trimmed before we get to the semifinals and finals, unlike what happens now when those teams can get in and teams like Alabama, Tennessee, 2021 Ohio State get left out. Another reason why I love this 12-team college football playoff is because we're going to get some interesting matchups. I've never seen Alabama play Oregon. How cool would it be for Ohio State to play Ole Miss? That's awesome. With 4 teams, you see the same 4 teams getting in all the time. Sometimes the committee gets it right, sometimes they don't. But you get a lot of the same matchups with 12 teams. 5 seed playing the 12 seed, 6 seed playing the 11 seed. You're going to get some pretty interesting matchups. And that's something that intrigues me, and I think will intrigue your average consumer as well. Like any consumer out there, seeing matchups you haven't seen before, that's cool. I wonder what Texas and North Carolina would look like. Mac Brown facing Texas again. That's an awesome matchup. You may be able to see that with this new college football playoff format of 12 teams. Lastly, I want to end with this. 3 words. Home playoff games. How wild would it be? Just think about the magnitude of a playoff game in Columbus, Ohio. A playoff game in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. A playoff game in Athens, Georgia. Or Austin, Texas. Or Eugene, Oregon. That's what college football is all about. That's what college football diehards live for. And, I go to Alabama right now. I see how hype this town gets for when we play Texas A&M, or when we play LSU or Tennessee. And granted, those are SEC rivalries. But having a playoff game here, having a game of that magnitude here, it will be off the charts. The atmosphere, the noise, the excitement levels will be off the charts. And that is what will be integral to building the brand of college football. And that's what is fostered by this new 12-team college football playoff format. Home playoff games. I've always been a fan of home games over neutral site games, with the exception of semifinals and finals games. We finally get to see this. Think about it, like Alabama playing Penn State here in Tuscaloosa. Ohio State playing Texas in the shoe. That's awesome. I can't wait for that to be a reality. And I laid out my claims here. Please let me know what you think in the comment section below. But I'm really eager to see, I can't wait to see what this 12-team college football playoff looks like. I support it. It may be a train wreck, but it may be a success. And if it is a success, I was here to support it and tell you so. So, just want to put that out there. But it's going to be really cool to see it all unfold. But thank you all for watching this video, and have a great day. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you and the time that you took out of your day to watch the video. And if you enjoyed it, please be sure to like the video and share it, as well as subscribe to The Era. The more likes and subscribers I get on this channel, the more resources I can attain, and the more resources I can attain, the more value I can provide to you, the viewer. And that is how I show my appreciation for you, for the time that you devote to watching my videos. So thank you so much, and have a great day.